Morning. Today we'll discuss about panic disorder and its management. I am Dr. Sridhar, Professor and HOD, Department of Psychiatry, Sri Lakshmi Narayana Institute of Medical Sciences, Pondicherry, Bihar. Now the contents of the topic: definition, some features of panic disorder, risk factors, difference between panic attack and pathophysiology, classification, cause, panic disorder, school time, outcomes, ICD-10 and DSM criteria, disease which mimic panic disorder, treatment and prognosis. Definition: it is a recurrent and unexpected anxiety attack of panic, which are more often called as panic attack in a month with one or more of following features. A. Persisting fear of having another attack. B. Worry about implications and consequences of the attack. C. Significant changes of behavior after the attack. Some features of panic disorder. Panic attacks can occur at any time, even during sleep. An attack usually peaks within 10 minutes, but some symptoms may last much longer. Panic disorder is twice as common in women as men. Panic attacks often begin in late adolescence or early adulthood. Not everyone who experiences panic attacks will develop panic disorder. Many people have just one attack and never have another. Panic disorder is often accompanied by other serious problems such as depression, drug abuse, or alcoholism. The risk factors are adolescence or early adulthood, major life transitions perceived as stressful, that is, graduating from college, getting married, having a first child, genetic factors. If a family member has panic disorder, you have an increased risk, especially during a time in your life that is particularly stressful. Differences between panic attack and panic disorder. Anyone can suffer a panic attack, that is, an extreme anxiety reaction that results when a real threat suddenly emerges. For example, when they are afraid of somebody in the house stealing. The experience of panic disorder, however, is different. Panic attacks are periodic, short bouts of panic that occur suddenly, reach a peak, and pause. Sufferers often fear they will die, go crazy, or lose control. Attacks happen unexpectedly in the absence of a real threat. Sufferers also experience dysfunctional changes in thinking and behavior as a result of the attacks. Pathophysiology. First, there is frequently the sudden onset of fear, little provoking stimulus. This leads to release of noradrenaline, which brings about so-called fight or flight response, wherein the person's body prepares for strenuous physical activity. This leads to tachycardia, hyperventilation, which may be perceived with dyspnea and sweating, which increases grip and aids heat loss. Because strenuous activity rarely ensues, the hyperventilation leads to drop in carbon dioxide levels in the lungs and then in the blood. This leads to shifts in blood pH, respiratory alkalosis, or hypocapnia, which in turn can lead to many other symptoms such as tingling or numbness, dizziness, burning, and lightheadedness. Moreover, the release of adrenaline during panic attack causes vasoconstriction, resulting in slightly less blood flow to the head, which causes dizziness and lightheadedness. A panic attack can cause blood sugar to be drawn away from the brain and towards the major muscles. It is also possible for the person experiencing such an attack to feel as though they are unable to catch their breath and they begin to take deeper breaths, which also acts to decrease carbon dioxide levels in the blood. It is also unclear why some people have such abnormalities in norepinephrine activity. That one, inherited biological predisposition is one possibility. Prevalence should be greater among close relatives. Among monozygotic twins, 24%. Among dizygotic twins, 11%. Classification. Two diagnoses. One is panic disorder with agoraphobia. Then another one is panic disorder without agoraphobia. That is twice more common. Causes of panic disorder. The biological theory of panic disorder: serotonin, norepinephrine, dopamine, and GABA. Then metabolic theories, learning theory, cognitive theories, and psychodynamic theory. Biological perspective: vulnerability to panic disorder tend to run in families. Example, twin studies, higher concordance rates among identical twins. Among monozygotic, 24%. Among dizygotic twins, 11%. Possible imbalance of neurotransmitter involved in arousal, serotonin, and norepinephrine. Coming to pharmacological triggers, first, stimulants. This includes caffeine, amphetamine, alcohol, and many more. Alcohol, medication, or drug withdrawal. Depressants, alcohol withdrawal and benzodiazepine withdrawal. Rebound withdrawal symptoms. Chronic illness. Chronic serious illness, cardiac condition that can cause sudden death, such as long QT syndrome. Catecholaminergic polymorphic ventricular tachycardia, full Parkinson-White syndrome can also result in panic attack. It can be difficult for someone with a cardiac condition to distinguish between symptoms of cardiac dysfunction and symptoms of anxiety. In CPVT, the anxiety itself can trigger arrhythmia. Cognitive theory. First, major life transition, that is post-graduation, losing job, or after marriage. Number two, stimulus generalization. First attack occurs in one location and then fear another attack in similar locations. 3. Being helplessness increases fear. 4. Maintained by negative reinforcement. 5. Excessive focus on potential threats. Outcomes. People who have full-blown repeated panic attacks can become very disabled by the condition. Some people's lives become so restricted that they avoid normal activities such as grocery shopping or driving. About 1/3 become housebound, or able to confront a feared situation only when accompanied by a spouse or other trusted person. When the condition progresses this far, it is called agoraphobia or fear of open spaces. Diagnosis. ICD-10 says for definitive diagnosis, several severe attacks of autonomic anxiety should have occurred within a period of about 1 month. A. In circumstances where there is no objective danger. B. Without being confined to known or predictable situations. C. With comparative freedom from anxiety symptoms between the attacks, although anticipatory anxiety is common. Cylinder. The DSM criteria for panic disorder diagnosis. Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorder says at least 4 out of 13 symptoms stating the patient has had a panic attack. The symptoms are palpitations or increased pulse. Number 2, sweating. 3rd, trembling and shaking. 4, sensation of shortness of breath. 5, feeling of choking. 6, chest discomfort. 7, nausea or stomach distress. 8, dizzy, unsteady, lightheaded or faint. 9, derealization and depersonalization. 10, fear of losing control or going crazy. 11, fear of dying. 12, paresthesias. And 13, chills or hot flushes. 4 out of the following is the criteria. Diseases which mimic panic disorder. Number 1, hyperthyroidism. Number 2, hypothyroidism. 3rd, temporal lobe epilepsy. 4, asthma. 5, cardiac arrhythmias. 6, pheochromocytoma. And 7, too much coffee and other stimulants. Treatment goals are: number 1, decrease frequency of attacks. Number 2, decrease intensity of attacks. 3rd, decrease anticipatory anxiety. And 4, decrease phobic avoidance. Coming to cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT with or without pharmacotherapy is the treatment of choice for panic disorder, and it should be considered for all patients. In 12 to 16 sessions, usually weekly, the focus is on recreating the feared symptoms and then modifying the patient's response. The trigger in an individual case should be something like 1, a thought or a situation, and something subtle like a slight change in the heartbeat. The goal of therapy should be understanding the panic attack separate and independent of the trigger. Awareness of the triggers so it begins to lose some of its power to induce an attack. Behavioral therapy. Behavioral therapy involves sequentially greater exposure of patient to anxiety-provoking stimuli. Over time, the patient becomes desensitized to the experience. Relaxation techniques also help to control patient's level of anxiety. The trigger could be 1, intentional hyperventilation, creates lightheadedness, derealization, blurred vision, and dizziness. 2, spinning a chair that creates dizziness, disorientation. 3rd, stall breathing, creates dyspnea, airway constriction. 4th, breath holding, creates sensation of being out of breath. Then running in place creates increased heart rate, respiration, and perspiration. Finally, body tensing creates feeling of being tense and vigilant. The goal therapy is help the patient to come through an attack by controlling the symptoms. The pharmacological therapy. Patients should be made to understand the importance of longer-term management with SSRI medication and psychotherapeutic techniques, that is CBT. Avoid the prescription of benzodiazepines in patients with a known history of substance misuse or alcoholism. Then follow-up care and referrals. Initial follow-up care will occur within 2 weeks because SSRIs can cause an initial exacerbation of panic symptoms. For this reason, beginning with the lowest dose with the understanding that the dose must be increased at the initial follow-up visit. Third, assess potential suicidal risk at all appointments. ensure continuing treatment of any concurrent substance use disorders. 4. Follow care by a chemical dependence treatment specialist is recommended when indicated. And finally, patients with ventricular dysrhythmias, abnormal findings on ECG, abnormal findings on cardiac examination are significant risk factors for heart disease, and they should be referred to a cardiologist. The 5 groups of drugs used in panic disorder are SSRIs, SNRIs, high potency benzodiazepine, tricyclic antidepressants, and monoamine oxidase inhibitors. Coming to SSRIs, SSRI is the first choice for the treatment of panic disorder. Drugs like fluoxetine, paroxetine, sertraline, or fluoxamine. Monoamine oxidase, it is an antagonist at the 5-HT2 receptor and inhibits the reuptake of 5-HT. It also has a negligible affinity for cholinergic and histaminergic receptors. SNRIs, trazodone, it is used in panic disorder with or without agoraphobia. Monoamine oxidase, it is an antagonist at the 5-HT2 receptor and inhibits the reuptake of 5-HT. It also has a negligible affinity for cholinergic and histaminergic receptors. Intermediate to strong benzodiazepine, lorazepam, clonazepam, alprazolam, or diazepam. It is not a primary choice because of the dependence and side effects caused. Useful in situation as apprehensiveness about taking an airplane flight. Monoamine oxidase, it potentiates GABA by binding the specific GABA receptors. Tricyclic antidepressants, ibuprofen, pizipramine, clomipramine. The side effects are: number 1, blurred vision, dry mouth, dizziness, weight gain, GI disturbances, agitation, headache, insomnia, and decreased libido. Monoamine oxidase inhibitors, phenelzine or phenylcyclamine, they are effective in patients with panic disorder or other associated phobia. Monoamine oxidase, non-selective monoamine oxidase inhibitor may inhibit the enzyme monoamine oxidase, which is responsible for the breakdown of dopamine, serotonin, epinephrine, and norepinephrine, in turn causing an increase in endogenous concentration of these neurotransmitters. Relapses. After a successful treatment, many patients may fall into relapse, especially after a remarkable event in patient's life as loss of beloved one, discovered or severe illness. We should have adopted a prior treatment of CBT and drugs, that is SSRIs and SNRIs, and if it does not work, should be maintained by CBT and stay in the group of drugs. Prognosis. Long-term prognosis usually good, with almost 65% of patients with panic disorder achieving remission typically within 6 months. The risk of coronary artery disease in patients with panic disorder nearly doubled. In patients with coronary disease, panic can induce myocardial ischemia. The risk of sudden death may also theoretically be increased due to reduced heart rate variability and increased QT interval variability. Appropriate pharmacological therapy or cognitive behavioral therapy, individually or in combination, are effective in more than 85% of cases. Next, we'll discuss about agoraphobia. The outline, introduction, etiology, clinical features, diagnostic criteria, prognosis, and management. The term agora in ancient Greece means a public open space used for assemblies and markets. It is a market between the Acropolis and work cultivate. Agoraphobia is translated from Greek as a fear of the marketplace. Agoraphobia involves intense fear and anxiety to a real or anticipated place or situation where escape might be difficult. People with agoraphobia may avoid situations such as being alone outside of their home, traveling in a car, bus, airplane, being in a crowded area, being in enclosed spaces such as shops and cinemas, or being on a bridge or in an elevator. Introduction is the term agoraphobia is used here with a wider meaning than it had been originally. It is now taken to include fears not only of open spaces but also of related aspects such as presence of crowds and the difficulty of immediate escape to a safety place, usually home. Most sufferers are women, and onset is usually early in adult life. Depressive and obsessional symptoms and social phobias may also be present. In the absence of effective treatment, agoraphobia often becomes chronic, though usually fluctuating. Agoraphobia is a type of anxiety disorder in which a person fears and avoids places or situations that might cause panic and makes feel trapped, helpless, or embarrassed. A person's fear is an actual or anticipated situation, such as being public transportation, being in an open or enclosed spaces, standing in line, or being in a crowd. The anxiety is caused by fear that there is no easy way to escape or go get help. The anxiety intensifies. Most people who have agoraphobia develop it after having one or more panic attacks, causing them to worry about having another attack and avoid the places where it may happen again. People with agoraphobia often have a hard time feeling safe in any public place, especially where crowds gather. A person may feel that he needs a companion, such as a relative or friend, to go with it to public places. The fear can be overwhelming that a person may feel unable to leave his home. Agoraphobia is a fear of being outdoors or otherwise being in a situation from which one either cannot escape or from which escaping would be difficult or embarrassing. Like other phobias, agoraphobia often goes unreported, probably because many phobia sufferers find ways to avoid the situation in which they are put. Agoraphobia often co-occurs with panic disorder. Agoraphobia occurs alone in less than 1% to nearly 7% of the population, more often in girls and women compared to boys and men. Agoraphobia refers to a fear of any place where escape may be difficult, including large open spaces or roads, as well as various means of travel. An individual with agoraphobia fears these situations because of thoughts that escape may be difficult in the event of an emergency, or that help might not be available if the person develops panic-like symptoms or other embarrassing symptoms. Such high discomfort and stress may require another person's company in such situations. For agoraphobia to be considered as a diagnosis, the agoraphobic situation must also always create fear and anxiety that are out of proportion to the actual danger posed, and these signs of distress typically last for a minimum of 6 months. In its most severe form, people with agoraphobia are completely unable to leave their home. Approximately 1.7% of adolescents and adults are diagnosed with agoraphobia. Women are twice as likely as men to experience agoraphobia. Initial onset is typically in late adolescence or early adulthood, although agoraphobia can occur in childhood as well. The thoughts that usually cause fear and anxiety tend to change with age. Children often fear becoming lost, adults may fear experiencing panic like symptoms, and older adults may fear falling. Agoraphobia often accompanies another anxiety disorder such as panic disorder, specific phobia, and depressive disorders. Typically, people with agoraphobic restrict themselves to a zone of safety that may include only the home or the immediate neighborhood. Any movement beyond the edges of this zone creates mounting anxiety. People with agoraphobia can be seriously disabled by the condition. Some are unable to walk and they may need to rely heavily on the family members who must be shopping and household errands as well as accompany the affected person on rare excursions outside the safety zone. People with this disorder may become household for years with resulting impairment of relationship. It has been estimated that more than one-third of people with agoraphobia do not leave their home and are unable to work. The symptoms of agoraphobia here are anxiety about being outside the home alone, using public transportation, being in enclosed places like stores, movie theaters, standing in line or being in crowd, being in open spaces, markets, parking lots, etc. Being in places where escape might be difficult. Active avoidance of all situations that provoke fear and anxiety. Becoming housebound for prolonged periods. Feeling of detachment or estrangement from others. Feelings of helplessness, dependence upon others, anxiety or panic attacks, acute severe anxiety. Symptoms of agoraphobia, fear of being by yourself in any panic situations, fear of being in jam-packed places, fear of losing self-control in overcrowded places, fear of being in hard-to-leave places like a train or elevator, inability to leave from home, or be able to leave only when accompanied by someone, over-dependence on others. The clinical features include anxiety symptoms like psychological arousal, autonomic arousal, gastrointestinal, respiratory, cardiovascular, muscle tension, hyperventilation, and sleep disturbance. Anticipatory anxiety means anxiety appears hours before the person enters the feared situation. Other symptoms include depressive symptoms and depersonalization. Clinical features. Situations. Many situations provoke anxiety and avoidance, but there are three main themes or situations that provoke anxiety and avoidance. Number one, distance from home. Number two, crowding. And third one, confinement. Agoraphobia is diagnosed based on signs and symptoms, in-depth interview with your doctor or a mental health professional, physical exam to rule out other conditions that could be causing your symptoms. Criteria for agoraphobia listed in Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorder DSM-5, published by the American Psychiatric Association. ICD-10, the diagnostic criteria, the following criteria should be fulfilled for a definite diagnosis. A psychological or autonomic symptom must be primarily manifestation of anxiety and not secondary to other symptoms such as delusions or obsessional thoughts. The anxiety must be restricted to or occur mainly at least two or of the following situations, like crowds, public places, traveling away from home, and traveling alone. And avoidance of the phobic situation must be or have been a prominent feature. Diagnostic criteria DSM-5. All of the below features must be present in order to make a proper diagnosis of agoraphobia. Marked and disproportionate fear when confronted with at least two different situations, such as open spaces, public transport, or crowded areas. An immediate anxiety persons such as panic attack when exposed to the phobic stimulus. Recognition of the fear as disproportionate. avoidance behaviors, distress or anticipatory anxiety that significantly disrupts normal routine relationships, occupational or social activities. Symptoms recorded for at least 6 months across all age groups. No other underlying condition that may explain the symptoms. Coming to the etiology of agoraphobia, theories of onset, the cognitive hypothesis, biological theory, and psychoanalytic theory, theories of spread and maintenance, learning theories, personality, and family influences. Causes. The etiology of most anxiety disorders, although not fully understood, has come into sharper focus in the latest decade. The broad terms, the likelihood of developing anxiety involves a combination of experiences, psychological traits, and or genetic factors. Heritability for agoraphobia is reported to be 61%, making it the phobia most strongly linked to the genetic factor that represents predisposition to phobias. Some of the environmental factors that are known to be associated with the development of agoraphobia are experiencing stressful events. For example, the death of a parent, being attacked or mugged, and being raised in a household characterized by little warmth and high level of overprotection. The following are the risk factors. Agoraphobia can begin in childhood, but usually starts in the late teen or early adult years, usually before the age of 35. But older adults can also develop it. Women are diagnosed with agoraphobia more often than men are. Risk factors for agoraphobia include having panic disorder or other phobias, responding to panic attacks with excessive fear and avoidance, experiencing stressful life events such as abuse, the death of a parent, or being attacked, having an anxious or nervous temperament, having a blood relative with agoraphobia. Now coming to differences between agoraphobia and social phobia. Contrary to popular conception, people with social anxiety disorder do not develop agoraphobia. Agoraphobia results from the fear of panic attacks, not from the fear of social interactions. Prognosis. Kitchen et al. In 2010 state that agoraphobia that has lasted for 1 year generally remains for the next 5 years, and usually the illness runs a chronic course. Brief episodes of depression are common during the chronic course, and more people are likely to seek help during these episodes. Management, psychological treatment, exposure treatment, cognitive behavioral therapy, anxiety management in short term is as effective as medications, and in the long term is probably more effective. Medications, anxiolytic drugs, and antidepressant drugs.